What's going on, guys, and welcome back to F1 22 for the pre-season video for Season 2, but also the first race for Season 2 as well. Bahrain will be in this video because the pre-season ended up actually being quite, just having the pre-season as a video on its own would have been a very short video. That's what I was going to do, but ended up putting Bahrain the first round with it as well. So yeah, we're getting into Season 2 here. So right here at the moment we are actually just putting a few more upgrades on the car, because after adapting all the aero and chassis parts that I could at the end of Season 1, I actually ended up having a few more points left over. So I think I put a durability upgrade and a powertrain upgrade, because there's no point putting aero and chassis parts on because they'll just need readapting again, and I won't have time to do that. So now we're looking for a new teammate. First of all, we're going to have a look at Kevin Magnussen. He's the one that caught my eye straight away. I mean, his focus is very low. Unfortunately, though, he didn't accept our approach. Wanted a few more. He wanted like a durability spec 1, and we don't have that at the moment. And he wanted a slightly better team ranking. We're next going to go with Mick Schumacher, and he accepts. So Mick Schumacher accepts our offer, our approach offer, and we're going to negotiate with him and Haas. So starting us off here, as they always do, Haas puts in a bid. I'm going to put in one large bid, and I'm just going to go small bids from there. Don't have a whole lot of money, so we're just, trying to work with what we got here. But it's only going to need one bid from us, and Haas, they don't seem that bothered about having Mick Schumacher on their team anymore, because one bid, 6.22 million, and we have got Mick Schumacher. It's going to cost 9.22 altogether with the $3 million buyout, but there we have it. Mick Schumacher will be driving for Mazda Speed Racing in Season 2, which is 2023 technically. We're going to put a durability facility upgrade on as well, because we've got quite a bit of money to play with now after, not having to kind of spend as much money as I was expecting on our driver. Looking at the calendar for the next season, we've got Bahrain, Saudi, Australia, Imola, then Miami round 5. We then skip Spain and Monaco, go to Azerbaijan. We're going to skip Canada, go to Great Britain, then we're going to go to Austria. Then we're going to bring in France and Hungary, which we didn't go to last season. We're going to skip Belgium, go to the Netherlands, which is also one we skipped last season, go to Monza, then to Singapore, skip out Japan, go to Kota, then go to Mexico, and we're going to finish the season in Brazil. So there's a few tracks there that I got rid of, mainly like Japan, Belgium, and Canada, which are some of my favorite tracks, but I wanted to still only do a 16 race season, but I wanted to get all 6 tracks that I didn't race at last season on here. So there will be certain favorite tracks that I'm going to have to just, because I want to mix it up a bit, even though some of these tracks are not my favorite tracks, they're not the best tracks in the world, I still want to drive them at least once in this career mode save of ours. So yeah, we have had to sacrifice a couple of favorite tracks there, but don't worry, things like Canada, Belgium, and Japan will definitely be on the calendar next season. I'm going to try and not take more than like a season break from a track, especially the favorite ones. Put a few more facility upgrades on as well, because after once this season got underway, after the end of Season 1 finished, we got a bit more money to play with thanks to finishing at 9th in the constructors. We're also going to put a few more upgrades on the car. I think a couple of aerodynamic upgrades and a durability upgrade. And now we have a look at the driver market. So starting us off, of course, Mick Schumacher driving for us. Nicholas Latifi stays at Williams, so does Alexander Albon, so no change at Williams. However, Red Bull is the big first change. Of course, Sergio Perez retired at the end of Season 1, and Lance Stroll has replaced him at Red Bull. Not the driver I would have expected to replace Perez at Red Bull, but there we go. Lance Stroll is at Red Bull. He's in a top team, the top team, to be honest, with Ferrari. Then he's still alongside there with Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes, along with George Russell as before. You've then got Lando Norris, and of course Daniel Ricciardo at McLaren, so no changes there. Haas, though, because we stole Mick Schumacher, Robert Schwartzman has entered Formula 1 with Haas, so it'd be interesting to see where he sits, seeing that Haas are, kind of a midfield team, and, well, depending on whether they stay there for this season after the regulation change. No changes at Ferrari with Sainz and Leclerc. Liam Lawson, my old teammate, has gone to Aston Martin to replace Lance Stroll, so yeah, kind of just a step sideways for Lawson. Aston Martin towards the bottom of the grid. Sebastian Vettel's still in the sport, he hasn't retired yet, and you know, it's all the same from here. Alpine stick with Ocon, Alonso, AlphaTauri stick with Tsunoda and Gasly, and then for Alfa Romeo you've still got Zhou, Guan Yu and Bottas. So yeah, the main, not a whole lot of driver moves to be honest, the main one I guess being Lance Stroll going to Red Bull. I would have liked a bit more of a mix up with the driver transfers, but oh well, hopefully we'll get some more craziness going on in the future. As we have a look at the R&D, we've actually gone up a little bit. We are just ahead of AlphaTauri and Aston Martin, so we've not moved up a whole lot from where we were, but we are back ahead of AlphaTauri and Aston Martin, and we're just behind Haas, so hopefully, you know, it's not quite a jump up straight into the midfield yet, but I'm hoping as the season goes, and I mean, we've got 3 upgrades coming through that should be coming through, I think, just before Australia, so I'm hoping that they will boost us a bit further up once those upgrades come in. Now going on to Q1, we did manage to make it through into Q2, thankfully. That's one thing I want to try and do this season, especially if the car stays where it is or hopefully goes up. Really don't want to be going backwards this season, that we should be getting into at least Q2 a lot of the time, and hopefully, you know, midway through the season perhaps we can start putting in regular Q3 appearances, so we do get through to Q2. It was a decent lap, it was pretty good. Get through to Q2. Mick Schumacher unfortunately doesn't quite make it through, P17 for him. Alexander Albon though, P12 in the Williams. He's showing some good pace. I actually thought, you know, that's a pretty good lap from me, I'm doing pretty well, but then Albon in the Williams just absolutely smashing it out of the park. Of course, we don't make it through to Q3. It does end with Q2 for us, but yeah, I felt like this was a decent session. It was a decent lap. Definitely better than Bahrain in Season 1. I mean, that was our very first race, and qualifying, I think we actually qualified dead last, because at that time we were also trying to figure out the AI difficulty and everything. I'm pretty sure I qualified last, and in the race I think I finished like second to last as well of the finishers. So it wasn't a great Bahrain Grand Prix for us last season, so already it's a better qualifying. How we'll do in the race, I don't really know. Of course, I mean, as you can see as well, you can't see, but you might be able to hear, we've actually got Ferrari engines in the car this year as well, so for this season. I forgot to show you that screen, you know, changing the engine and all that sort of stuff, but basically we've gone for Ferrari engines because with Mercedes, Mercedes and Ferrari both have the exact same stats, so I decided just to switch it up to change from Mercedes to Ferrari, so, you know, just makes it a little bit different. Also, I did also change the primary sponsor. I can't remember, I think it's Seren, the title sponsor name, and I think it's finished 6th or better in the Constructors' Championship, so that is what we're going for this season. Ends up being P14, which I thought was pretty good until I saw that Pierre Gasly went P11 in the AlphaTauri, and Alexander Albon P13 ahead of us. So although I felt like it was good pace from us, those guys still a little bit quicker, so let's see what can be done in the race.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Stroll, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Ricciardo, Russell, Norris, Ocon and Valtteri Bottas, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Alex Albon, Shaw, Zhou, Magnussen, Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda, Schwartzman, Vettel, Liam Lawson and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. They've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Alright, so P14 on the grid behind the Williams and the Aston Martin, which on paper we should be quicker than, but I think all in all it's still a decent enough quali session. I mean, we've beaten both Hasses in qualifying. We've beaten Zhou Guan Yu in the Alfa Romeo as well, both Aston Martins, and of course our teammate and Nicholas Latifi in the other Williams. So I think it's a decent position for us here, P14. We're starting on the mediums. There's a few cars around us starting on the softs, but here we go to 5 red lights for the first round of Season 2. My Team Career Mode, lights out, and away we go. It is a okay start for us, I guess, but we've got quicker cars behind us on soft tyres, and that is Kevin Magnussen on the right going for a move, but we're going to thread the needle down a couple of cars into turn 1 there. A little bit of contact between Alonso and Albon up ahead. We kind of get a little bit caught up here, but are now just behind Valtteri Bottas as Albon makes his way slightly ahead into, I think, P12 or 11 that is, as we go for a move off the inside of Bottas, who's a little bit slow going into this next corner, but we're going to stay side by side with the Finnish driver as we head into this right hand section here. This is a section that I've had issues with in F1 2021, but in this game, like a lot of other tracks actually in this game, seem to have it easier in this game than the previous one, and we make that move on Valtteri Bottas, and now trying to keep with Alexander Albon, because he's a driver that I definitely want to be trying to beat here. The Williams is the slowest car on track as we have yellow flags behind us there. I'm not sure what that was all about, but we've got a virtual safety car out right now. And I think we're going to see just in a second what's happened there. So right at the back of the field, we've got Liam Lawson right at the back there in the Aston Martin, my previous teammate. Mick Schumacher, my current teammate, looks like he hasn't had a great start because he is now right at the back as well, and he's fighting with Lawson for last place in this race. Both my current teammate and my previous teammate still battling it out here right at the back of the grid, and as they go up to the fast left-hander, Lawson looks like he's just ahead, but he outbrakes himself into that corner and smacks into the back of the Williams of Nicholas Latifi, and that has completely broken his car. Don't know what went on here, but he just completely got all out of shape, went straight into the back of Latifi. We have a look at it from Mick Schumacher's view here, gets up the inside and then just, way too late on the brakes, has a bit of a twitch, straight into the back of Latifi, breaks one of his wheels, and that is Liam Lawson out on lap 1. The end of lap 1 though, the virtual safety car has ended, and we've not had the greatest jump on Albon up ahead, I must be honest. We're almost a second behind him at this point. We're actually going defensive from Bottas, but we actually end up going for a dive into turn 1 on Albon because he just leaves the door wide open. I wasn't actually going for a move there, I was pulling to the right to be defensive against Bottas, but we ended up turning defense into attack, which wasn't the idea. But now we are going to attack into the next corner on Albon because he's pretty much just leaving the door wide open for us. And it's going to be the same thing as us and Bottas on lap 1, side by side with Alexander Albon through this next section, but we can't quite get past, and now he's kind of in our way, and Magnussen is trying to make his way past in the Haas on the soft tyres. We're going to get a bit of a better run off the corner though, and kind of squeeze him out there as we're going to go into this next corner. Bottas and Magnussen now side by side. It's Bottas locks up, or just brakes a bit too late, goes too wide in that corner, and he's going to lose out a couple of positions because of that. We're going to check our vehicle condition because we had a little tap at one point in that race, but it seems to be all good. I think we don't have any damage, but we may have other problems on our hands.
Stand by. We see a problem our end and we're looking into it.
So that is not what we want to hear. Our engineer telling us that there is a problem. They're looking into the problem. Now, remember last season, first season of My Team Career Mode, we didn't have a single mechanical failure in the whole season. We had great reliability with the Mercedes engine. We've changed to Ferrari power for this season, same stats as the Mercedes, so didn't really bother me. But as we go onto the front straight here, we're going to go for a move on Alexander Albon. But what is that? It looks like our engine is up in smoke. We are coming to a stop on lap number 4 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. we've had our first mechanical DNF in the first round of Season 2. I mean, it was bound to happen at some point. We got through all of Season 1 without a single mechanical DNF, but it's going to happen first time around here in Season 2 with the Ferrari engine. I mean, it might not be the engine that's gone, but it's not great.
Out all the stops today. What a great win. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. It's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
So this season has not worked out quite the way, well, it's not started out the way we would have hoped. Max Verstappen, though, wins the Bahrain Grand Prix, so it's a win for the Red Bull driver, who's now carrying the number 33, because Charles Leclerc has the number 1 on his car. He's finished 3rd. Carlos Sainz, his Ferrari teammate, finishes 2nd, so it's still looking good for Ferrari this season. Ferrari and Red Bull are still at the top, but it is Red Bull and Max Verstappen who wins the first round this time around, so he's hoping to get that number 1 spot back on his car at the end of this season. Lance Stroll comes in P4, so it's a good day all round for them, and then it's 2x2 for Mercedes, McLaren and Alpine scoring the final points. My teammate Mick Schumacher comes home P18, so it's not a good result from him either. We DNF out of the session, of course, P21 for us, so not a good start. We actually finished pretty much the same place we did last season. However, we did at least finish the race last season, and because of that, we're P10 in the Constructors. We beat Aston Martin, but yeah, a lot of cars, I mean, all the way from P6 Haas down to P11, not scoring any points so far, so it's still all to play for. It's only the start of the season, so definitely hoping for better things next time out. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.